Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning for April 6, 2024, woman accused of stealing baby from KPH remanded until June 3. Susanna Greenfield, the woman accused of stealing an 11-day-old baby from the compound of Kingston Public Hospital last month, has been further remanded until June 3 for her to settle legal representation. Ms. Greenfield appeared in court on Wednesday. She was charged last month after she allegedly stole the baby girl from her mother at the hospital. The Denham Town Police had reported that on March 11, about 10 a.m., Greenfield approached the mother of the child, who was in a wheelchair, and offered to assist her with the baby. The mother then handed her the baby. However, Ms. Greenfield left, claiming she would return momentarily. The mother attempted to stop her, but Ms. Greenfield left with the baby and did not return. A report was made and the compound was checked, but there was no sign of the infant or Ms. Greenfield. Later the same day, about 3:35 p.m., police, acting on information, went to Northumberland Lane, Kingston 16, where the baby girl and the woman were found. 15-year-old mother and her 1-year-old son gone missing in Portmore. Another alert has been activated for 15-year-old Ruth Ann Wilson and her son, 1-year-old Malachi Williston of Portmore Park, Bridgeport in St. Catherine, who have been missing since Friday, April 5. Wilson is of dark complexion, slim build, and about 160 centimeters or 5 feet 3 inches tall, while Malachi is of dark complexion and about 52 centimeters or 2 feet tall. Reports from the Portmore police are that about 5 a.m., Wilson and her son were last seen at home. When last seen, she was dressed in a peach dress, while Malachi was dressed in a blue, red, and white jumper. All efforts to contact them have so far been unsuccessful. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Ruth Ann Wilson and Malachi Williston is asked to contact the Portmore police at 876-989-8422, the 119 police emergency number, or the nearest police station. Gun crime offenders nudged to seek lesser sentences by assisting police. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions is reminding the public, specifically offenders in gun crimes, that they can obtain a sentence below the mandatory minimum of 15 to 20 years if they assist the police in a meaningful way. Senior Deputy Director of Prosecutions, Andrea Martin Swaby, issued the reminder during the opening of the Home Circuit Court Easter term on Wednesday. The senior prosecutor said that though the new Firearms Act was passed in November 2022 with the important provision, it is sometimes lost on the public. Since the passing of the legislation, the gun court had not been getting many guilty pleas. Mrs. Martin Swaby said under the legislation, sentencing can go below the mandatory minimum if law enforcement is assisted in a meaningful way. She pointed out that assistance does not necessarily mean that individuals give evidence or choose to go that route, but assistance can be that they help the police to get rid of the guns off the street. Mrs. Martin Swaby also implored members of the private bar to have those franker discussions with their clients. The prosecutor said the reduction in guilty pleas may be as a result of persons being unaware their sentence can be reduced. Mrs. Martin Swaby also reminded persons that early guilty pleas for all sentences generally attract a reduction. Construction worker shot and wounded in St. James. A man was hospitalized with bullet wounds on Friday morning after he was attacked and shot at a construction site in Montego Bay, St. James. Investigators say about 10 a.m., the victim, a construction worker of a Hanover address, was carrying out work at the location along Queens Drive when he was attacked by 2 armed men. He was shot multiple times by the hoodlums. He was rushed to the hospital by other workers on the site. The police are trying to establish a motive for the attack. St. Catherine man charged for lottery scamming. A St. Catherine man who was arrested and charged during a police operation in St. Elizabeth has been charged with lottery scamming. Cadron Rose, an aluminum molder of Linstead, St. Catherine, was driving along the Oxford Main Road when he was signaled to stop. During a search of his motor vehicle, the police found the personal information of persons living overseas. The 45-year-old suspect was transported to the Black River Police Station and further questioned. He was unable to account for the information he had in his possession. Most victims of Fern Gully crash released from hospital. Most of the victims from Sunday's bus crash along the Fern Gully in St. Anne have been released from hospital. 23 people, including 16 children, were injured when the driver lost the control of the bus, which crashed along the popular attraction. One woman was killed in the mishap. Delroy Morgan, Chief Executive Officer of the St. Anne's Bay Hospital, told the news that 7 injured adults were released from the hospital between Thursday and Friday morning. 3 children remain at hospital. Mr. Morgan said a decision was to be made on Friday whether to release them. Man held with 28 rounds of ammunition in Portmore seeking bail. A bail application is set to continue on April 12 for businessman Michael McDonald, who was charged in relation to the seizure of 28 rounds of ammunition during a police operation in Portmore, St. Catherine. McDonald, 34, of Codgers Hill in the parish, was remanded when he appeared in the St. Catherine Parish Court on Thursday. He is answering a charge of unauthorized possession of ammunition. McDonald is being represented by attorney-at-law Matthew Sims. When McDonald appeared before Senior Parish Court Judge Desiree Allain, a bail application was entered on his behalf. Sims told the court that his client was given a bag and was not aware of the ammunition inside it. When the police stopped him, the name of someone else was inside the bag to show others accessed the bag, Sims argued. The judge ruled that the police need to appear in court to further outline the circumstances surrounding the seizure as part of the bail hearing. Allegations are that on February 29, McDonald was riding a motorcycle in Portmore Pines, St. Catherine, when he was stopped by police personnel who demanded a search of the bag that he was carrying. During the search, the police found 28 rounds of ammunition. McDonald was taken into custody. An investigation was launched and he was subsequently charged. St. Catherine man charged for pulling gun on senior citizen remanded. A St. Catherine man who allegedly pulled a gun on a senior citizen was remanded when he appeared in the parish court on Friday. The case against Denarius Rooms, who is charged with assault at common law and the possession of a prohibited weapon, has been transferred to the gun court for mention on April 19. The order was made by Senior Parish Court Judge Desiree Allain. Allegations are that about 11 a.m. on March 23, the complainant was in Paul Mountain District in Above Rocks, St. Catherine, when he was approached by the accused, who brandished a firearm and pointed it at his face. A report was made to the police. Rooms was pointed out by the complainant shortly after the incident. He was arrested and charged by the police. Second American boy to return to U.S. next week after abuse allegations at a troubled teen school. A second American boy of the 8 who were removed from the Atlantis Leadership Academy in Treasure Beach following allegations of abuse is to return to the United States as early as the next week. Attorney Michael McFarland, representing the boy and his mother, made the revelation while speaking at a press conference at the Jack Spratt restaurant in Treasure Beach on Wednesday. "I can only speak on behalf of my client. We received the news today that he could be coming home as early as next week," McFarland said. The 8 boys, ages 14 to 18, were earlier this year removed from the American-run boarding school by Jamaica's Child Protection and Family Services Agency in response to abuse allegations. 7 of the teens are currently in the custody of Jamaican child welfare authorities, while the 18-year-old was sent back home in February. McFarland revealed that his client will be going back with his mother for the time being. The other boys, "I am not at liberty to comment on what I learned today at the hearing. But it is fair to say weeks as opposed to months," McFarland added, as he fielded questions from journalists about the timeline of the boys' return to the U.S. The attorney went on to encourage staff and the possible eyewitnesses to step forward with information, noting that he was most interested in accountability. "We encourage the staff, the police, especially if you are a witness to any of the abuse that occurred as recently as February or as long ago as 2019 or before, Please come forward, said McFarland. Some of the boys have echoed that some of the staff were kind to them. No one has come forward to us directly yet. However, we encourage them to do this because if they have information that could help these boys in any way and help hold this institution accountable, that's what we're interested in doing, added McFarland. McFarland's sentiments were echoed by institutional child abuse survivor Chelsea Maldonado, who also took to the podium at the event to encourage staff and others to speak up. According to Maldonado, in 2001, when she was only 17 years old, she was forcibly brought to Treasure Beach by her father. Maldonado alleged that her father granted legal guardianship of the then teenager to Tranquility Bay, a for-profit specialty boarding school operated by Americans under the umbrella of the Worldwide Association of Specialty Programs.